Welcome, weary traveler, to the ocean of mind, a boundless sanctuary where the currents of worry gently recede and the shores of inner peace softly embrace you. In this sacred space, we invite you to release the day's burdens, to quiet the ceaseless chatter of the mind, and to rediscover the profound tranquility that resides within your deepest being. As the moonlight guides us and the soft echoes of wisdom surround us, prepare to embark on a journey through timeless Zen and Buddhist tales. Each story is a gentle key, unlocking a deeper understanding of joy, a richer experience of presence, and a path to the most restorative sleep you can possibly imagine. There is nothing to do now, nowhere to go. Simply listen and allow yourself to drift on the calm waters of awareness. Let us begin with our first story. This is the story of the plum tree and the master's lesson. A young monk arrived at a Zen monastery, eager to learn. He was full of questions about enlightenment and the ultimate truths. The master, a wise old man, sent him to prune the plum trees in the monastery garden. The monk worked diligently, but his mind raced. He thought about grand philosophical debates and profound meditations he had read about. He hurried through his task, impatient to return to the master for deeper teachings. When he finished, he reported to the master, "I have pruned the plum trees. Now may I learn the true path." The master looked at him with calm eyes. He said, "Go and observe the plum trees." The monk returned to the garden. He looked at the trees he had pruned. He noticed the sharp, uneven cuts, the fallen branches scattered carelessly on the ground. He saw that his mind had been elsewhere, while his hands were at work. As he stood there, a gentle breeze rustled the remaining leaves. He noticed the delicate buds just beginning to form, a promise of future blossoms. He saw a tiny spider weaving its web between two branches. He smelled the damp earth. After a morning rain, he spent hours simply observing the plum trees, without judgment, without expectation. When he returned to the master, his eyes were softer and his posture more relaxed. The master asked, "What did you learn?" The monk smiled faintly. "I learned how to prune plum trees," he replied. And in that simple answer, the master recognized that the true lesson had finally been absorbed. The story of the plum tree and the master's lesson offers a profound teaching on finding joy in the present moment. It challenges our modern tendency to rush through tasks, to always look ahead, to constantly seek something more profound than what is right here, right now. In today's fast-paced world, we are often driven by future goals and past regrets. We scroll through endless feeds, multitask constantly, and find ourselves dreaming of a different moment, a different place, a different version of ourselves. We might believe that true joy resides in grand achievements or extraordinary experiences, missing the quiet beauty of the ordinary. The Buddha taught, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. This profound insight is perfectly illustrated by the monk's journey. His action was simply to be fully present with the plum trees when he stopped seeking a higher truth and instead immersed himself in the simple act of pruning. The wisdom he sought was revealed. Zen practice invites us to bring our full attention to whatever we are doing, whether it is washing dishes, walking, or listening to a friend. It is about recognizing that true richness and true joy are found not in the task itself, but in the quality of our presence as we perform it. When we are truly present, the mundane transforms into the miraculous. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The anxiety of the future and the weight of the past dissolve in the vividness of this very moment. As the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, every breath we take, every step we make, can be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. This understanding is about cultivating a deep appreciation for the simple act of living. It is about finding contentment in the unfolding of each ordinary second. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on your day. Were there moments you rushed through or wished were different? Can you recall a simple activity, a cup of tea, a walk outside, and bring your full awareness to that memory? Rest in the quiet joy that comes from presence and the profound understanding that this moment, this breath, is already the source of all happiness. There once was a fisherman who spent his entire life seeking the perfect catch. He yearned for the largest fish, the rarest and most beautiful that the ocean could offer. Every morning, he would set out before dawn, casting his net with great expectation. He would spend the whole day concentrating intently on the depths below, always imagining the magnificent fish that would fill his net. He rarely enjoyed the journey itself. His mind was always on the future catch. He barely noticed the warmth of the sun on his skin, the gentle sway of his boat, or the vast, open sky above him. Day after day, he returned to shore, his net often empty of the grand fish he envisioned. Even when he caught ordinary fish, his joy was fleeting, for his mind already yearned for the next greater catch. One evening, as he pulled in his net, it was completely empty. No fish at all. For the first time, he looked at his empty net, not with disappointment, but with a strange curiosity. He noticed the intricate weave of the cords. He felt the coolness of the sea, water dripping from it. He saw the moon beginning to rise, reflected in its wet threads. And in that pure moment of simply seeing the empty net just as it was, he felt a profound peace. He realized the beauty was not in the catch, but in the act of casting, and in the quiet presence of the ocean itself. The poignant story of the fisherman's empty net offers a timeless wisdom for our modern lives. It illuminates our human tendency to constantly seek fulfillment in future outcomes or external acquisitions. In today's society, we are often driven by the pursuit of goals and accomplishments. We postpone our happiness until we achieve a certain milestone, a promotion, a new possession, a perfect relationship. We live with the mind of the fisherman, always casting towards a future desired catch, and often missing the richness of the present moment. The Buddha taught, the mind is everything. What you think you become. This profound truth is vividly reflected here. The fisherman's mind, focused solely on the future catch, created a reality of constant yearning and fleeting joy. Only when his mind rested on the simple reality of the empty net did peace arise. Zen practice invites us to cultivate presence in every action, to find completeness not in the outcome, but in the very act of living. It is about recognizing that true joy is not something we attain in the future, but something we uncover in the now. The empty net, like our own minds, is not a symbol of lack, but a spaciousness a pure potentiality that allows for all experience to arise and pass. When we are truly present, with our efforts, with our breath, with the simple reality of our daily lives, we discover a depth of contentment that no external catch can ever provide. As the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, washing the dishes is a practice. It is not just about washing the dishes, but about being fully present with the dishes. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any empty nets in your own life. Are you constantly seeking a future catch and missing the beauty of this very moment? Can you bring your awareness to the simple actions you are doing right now and find the joy in their pure presence? Rest in the profound peace that comes from realizing that your true treasure is already here. As your awareness deepens and your breath flows effortlessly, let us now explore the essence of suffering and the freedom found in allowing what is. This is the story of the two monks and the woman in the mud. Two Zen monks, Tanzan and Aikido, were traveling together on a pilgrimage. They reached a village where heavy rains had made the road muddy. At a crossing, they saw a beautiful young woman dressed in fine silken robes. She stood hesitant, unable to cross the muddy road for fear of spoiling her attire. Monks were forbidden from touching women according to their vows. Without a moment's hesitation, Tanzan walked over to her. He gently picked her up in his arms and carried her across the muddy stretch, setting her down safely on the other side. He then continued on his way. Aikido, the other monk, was shocked and deeply disturbed. He said nothing, but for the rest of their journey, he remained silent, his mind churning with thoughts of Tanzan's transgression. Hours passed. The two monks walked in silence through forests and over hills. Aikido's inner turmoil grew stronger with every step. He could no longer bear the weight of his thoughts. Finally, as evening approached and they neared their lodging, Aikido burst out, "Tanzan, we monks are forbidden from touching women, yet you carried that young woman across the mud. How could you do that?" Tanzan looked at him with a calm and gentle smile. He said, "I left the woman back there in the mud hours ago. Are you still carrying her? The poignant story of the two monks and the woman in the mud offers a profound Zen teaching on the nature of attachment and the suffering that arises from holding on. It challenges our modern tendency to cling to past events, to judgments, to expectations, long after they have served their purpose. In today's interconnected world, we are constantly reacting to information, to interactions, to perceived slights or injustices. We carry grudges. We replay arguments. We dwell on mistakes or missed opportunities, often for hours, days, or even years. These mental burdens are like Aikido's heavy thoughts. They prevent us from experiencing the joy of the present moment. They cloud our minds and weigh down our spirits. The Buddha taught, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This profound insight is perfectly embodied by Aikido's suffering. His anger and judgment were self-inflicted. His clinging to the past event was his own burden. Zen practice invites us to cultivate the art of letting go, to be present with each moment as it arises, and to allow it to pass without clinging. Tanzan acted with immediate compassion, then released the event completely. His mind remained clear, unburdened, and free. This is not about denying our emotions or avoiding responsibility. It is about recognizing when we are no longer acting in the present, but are instead imprisoned by our thoughts about the past. It is about realizing that true freedom and true joy come from releasing the narratives that no longer serve us. As the Zen master Dogen taught, when you find your way, you find your mind. To find your way is to walk lightly, unburdened by what is no longer here. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on anything you might still be carrying from your day or your past. Are you still holding on to a conversation, a perceived wrong, a lingering frustration? Can you, like Tanzan, gently set it down right now? Rest in the profound lightness that comes from releasing the burdens of the past, and allow yourself to simply be present in this moment of pure, unburdened peace. As you settle deeper into the soft embrace of this moment, let us now discover the surprising pathway to peace, found not in seeking perfection, but in embracing the natural rhythm of life. This is the story of the uncarved block and the carpenter. In a quiet village lived a renowned carpenter whose creations were admired by all. He was known not just for his skill, but for his profound inner peace. People would watch him work with rough, uncarved blocks of wood. He never seemed to force or rush the process. He would sit with a block for days, sometimes weeks, simply observing it. He would run his hands over its rough surface, feel its weight, notice its grain, its knots, its unique character. A young apprentice, eager to learn, asked him, "Master, how do you know what to carve? How do you make such perfect objects from these rough blocks?" The carpenter smiled. He pointed to a large, irregular piece of wood. He said, "This block already contains the perfect form. My task is not to impose my will upon it, but to listen to what it wants to become." He continued, "Sometimes the wood has a flaw, a deep crack, or an unusual knot. Another carpenter might discard it or try to force it into a shape it resists. But I honor these imperfections. They guide my chisel. They become part of its unique beauty. My joy is not in perfecting the wood, but in revealing what is already inherent within it. And in that patient dance between myself and the uncarved block, the true form emerges naturally." The profound story of the uncarved block and the carpenter offers a timeless teaching for our modern lives. It speaks to our relentless striving for external perfection and our frequent attempts to force outcomes rather than flowing with life's natural current. In today's goal-oriented society, we are often driven by rigid plans and fixed expectations. We try to control every aspect of our lives and the lives of others. We might feel frustrated when things do not go exactly as planned, or when our perceived imperfections stand in the way of our ideal vision. The Buddha taught, "Do not overrate what you have received, nor envy others. He who envies others does not obtain peace of mind." This profound insight can be applied to our own lives and our self-perception. When we constantly compare or try to force ourselves into an ideal shape, we lose sight of our inherent value. The carpenter embodies the wisdom of effortless action, or wu-wei, a key concept in Taoist and Zen philosophy. He does not strive against the wood, but works with it, honoring its nature. He finds joy in the process of revealing rather than controlling. Zen practice invites us to approach our own lives with the same gentle awareness, to recognize that we, like the uncarved block, already contain our inherent perfection, our true self. Our task is not to force ourselves into who we think we should be, but to gently release the layers of conditioning and expectation that obscure our authentic nature. This means embracing our unique qualities, our perceived flaws, and our natural rhythm. It is about trusting the unfolding of life and finding contentment in the present moments, imperfections, and unexpected turns. As the Zen master Dogen taught, to practice Zen is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be enlightened by all things. To be enlightened by all things is to see the perfect form in every uncarved block, including yourself. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any areas where you might be forcing or trying to control your life's direction or your own being. Can you imagine yourself as an uncarved block, full of inherent potential? Can you gently release the need to impose a perfect form and simply allow your true nature to naturally emerge? Rest in the profound peace that comes from trusting the effortless flow of life and finding joy in the beautiful unfolding of who you already are. As your body softens and your mind quietens, let us now consider the elusive nature of wisdom and the clarity found in simple, direct experience. This is the story of the taste of tea. A university professor, known for his vast knowledge of philosophy and religion, traveled a great distance to visit a renowned Zen master. The professor, eager to demonstrate his intellect, began to speak. As soon as he sat down, he lectured about various Buddhist scriptures, different schools of Zen, and his many theories on enlightenment. The master listened patiently with a serene expression. After a while, the master began to pour tea. He filled the professor's cup and continued to pour, even after the cup was full. The tea overflowed, spilling onto the table and then onto the floor. The professor watched in astonishment as the tea poured out. Finally, he could not contain himself. "Master," he exclaimed, "the cup is full. No more will go in." The master stopped pouring. He looked at the professor with gentle eyes. He said, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" In that moment, the professor fell silent. He looked at the overflowing tea and then at his own cluttered mind, and a profound understanding began to dawn within him. The classic story of the taste of tea offers a pivotal Zen teaching for our modern lives. It profoundly illustrates the necessity of an open mind, a beginner's mind, when seeking new understanding or experiencing the present moment. In today's information-saturated world, we are constantly accumulating knowledge, opinions, and data. We often approach new situations with preconceived notions or a belief that we already know the answers. Our minds, like the professor's cup, are often full, leaving no room for fresh insight or direct experience. The Buddha taught, to understand everything is to forgive everything. This profound insight applies not just to others, but to ourselves and our own mental habits. When our minds are full with judgments, with theories, with unexamined beliefs, we cannot truly forgive or truly understand the present moment. The Master's simple act of overflowing the cup was a profound act of teaching. He showed the professor that true learning begins with humility and a willingness to release what we think we know. Zen practice invites us to cultivate the beginner's mind, or shashin, to approach each moment, each breath, each interaction, as if it were entirely new, to listen deeply, to observe directly, without the filter of our accumulated knowledge or our hurried judgments. When our cup is empty, we are receptive. We can truly taste the tea, see the plum tree, hear the silence, and experience the world with fresh eyes and an open heart. This practice frees us from the weight of always needing to know or always needing to be right. It allows for a spaciousness, a joyful curiosity that transforms our everyday experiences. As the Zen master Shunryu Suzuki taught, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. To truly be an expert is to always remain a beginner at heart. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on your own mind. Is your cup full with opinions or expectations? Can you imagine gently emptying it right now? Can you allow yourself to be a beginner with this very breath? Rest in the profound clarity that comes from an empty cup and the quiet joy of simply being open to all that is. As your body softens and your mind quietens, let us now discover the true measure of resilience, found not in resistance, but in flowing with life's currents. This is the story of the willow tree and the strong wind. In a quiet valley stood two trees, a mighty oak, strong and unyielding, its branches reaching stiffly towards the sky, and a graceful willow, its branches slender and supple, swaying gently towards the earth. One day, a powerful storm arose. A fierce wind howled through the valley, lashing at the trees with relentless force. The mighty oak, proud and defiant, stood firm. It resisted the wind with all its strength. Its massive trunk held rigid, its branches unbending. It fought against the gale, determination etched into its very form. The graceful willow, however, offered no resistance. As the wind blew, it bent, its slender branches swayed and dipped, its leaves dancing with the force of the gale. It yielded completely to the wind's power, touching the ground, then springing back, only to bend again. The storm raged for many hours. When the sun finally broke through, the valley was changed. The mighty oak, which had stood so firm, was split down the middle. Its proud branches lay broken and scattered, its roots exposed. But the graceful willow, which had seemed so fragile, stood unharmed. Its branches returned to their natural position, a little wetter, a little wind-blown, but whole. It had survived by bending, not by breaking. The beautiful story of the willow tree and the strong wind offers a profound Zen teaching for our modern lives. It illustrates the true nature of resilience, found not in rigid resistance, but in adaptability and the wisdom of yielding. In today's unpredictable world, we often encounter strong winds, unexpected challenges, sudden changes, difficult emotions, our natural inclination is often to be like the oak, to resist, to stand firm, to fight against what we do not want. But this resistance, this clinging to how things should be, often leads to our own suffering, our own breaking. The Buddha taught, do not resent the river if it rises. This profound insight guides us to a different path. Like the willow, we are invited to flow with life's currents, to bend rather than break. Zen practice cultivates a mind and spirit that are flexible. It teaches us to observe challenges without immediately reacting with rigidity or aversion when difficult emotions arise. Instead of fighting them, we can acknowledge their presence, allow them to move through us, like the wind through the willow. This is about recognizing that true strength comes not from absolute control, but from a profound trust in our ability to adapt. It is about finding peace, not by eliminating storms, but by learning how to dance with them. The willow finds joy, not in resisting the wind, but in the very act of swaying. It demonstrates that grace and wholeness can be maintained even amidst the greatest turbulence. As the Zen master Lao Tzu taught, the softest things in the world overcome the hardest things in the world. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any strong winds you might be facing, or any areas where you feel rigid or resistant. Can you imagine yourself as the graceful willow? Can you allow yourself to gently bend, to yield to the moment just as it is? Rest in the profound resilience that comes from flowing with the rhythm of life, and the quiet joy found in simply allowing what is. As your body softens further and your breath flows effortlessly, let us now discover the simplicity of truth, found not in complexity, but in direct, unassuming observation. This is the story of the rice cake and the monk's question. A young monk, eager for profound insights, was meditating in the garden of the monastery. He had spent many hours contemplating complex sutras and intricate philosophical questions. He struggled to grasp the ultimate nature of reality. The master, walking by, noticed the monk's furrowed brow. He stopped and observed him silently. Finally, he approached. The master was eating a simple rice cake. He held it out, to the monk and asked, "What is this?" The monk, surprised and expecting a profound koan or a deep philosophical inquiry, hesitated. He searched his mind for a clever answer, a hidden meaning. He thought of concepts, of emptiness, of form, of illusion. He said, "Master, is it not a symbol of impermanence, or perhaps a metaphor for the self being consumed?" The master simply took another bite of the rice cake. He looked at the monk with serene eyes. He said, "No, it is just a rice cake." And then he took another bite. The monk looked at the rice cake, then at the master. He realized the master was not looking for a clever answer. He was not asking for philosophy. He was asking a simple, direct question about a simple, direct thing. And in that moment, all his intellectual striving, all his complex theories fell away. He saw the rice cake for what it truly was: simple, real, present. And in that pure, unadorned observation, he felt a profound and unexpected joy. The charming story of the rice cake and the monk's question offers a pivotal Zen teaching for our modern lives. It profoundly illustrates our human tendency to overcomplicate reality, to seek profound meaning in every detail, and to miss the simple truth of what is right before us. In today's intellectualized world, we are often driven by the need to analyze, to interpret, to understand everything. Through complex frameworks, we can become so lost in our thoughts and our concepts that we become disconnected from direct experience. We might find ourselves searching for happiness in grand philosophical systems or in future accomplishments, missing the simple joys that are present in everyday moments. The Buddha taught to be aware of the present moment is the only way to live. This profound insight is perfectly demonstrated by the master's simple act. The rice cake was not a symbol. It was simply a rice cake. His wisdom lay in its direct perception, without added layers of thought or interpretation. Zen practice invites us to cultivate simplicity, to observe our experiences, our thoughts, our emotions, without immediately labeling them or theorizing about them, to bring our full awareness to the act of eating, the act of walking, the act of breathing. When we can taste our food without thinking about its ingredients, or its nutritional value. When we can see a flower without identifying its species or its cost, we experience the world with fresh eyes and an open heart. This practice frees us from the burden of constant mental activity. It allows for a spaciousness, a joyful curiosity that transforms our everyday existence. As the Zen master Dogen taught, when you find your way, you find your mind. To find your way is to return to the pure, unadorned simplicity of the present moment. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any areas where you might be overthinking or overcomplicating your life. Are you searching for profound answers when the truth is already present in the simplicity of now? Can you allow yourself to simply be with this moment just as it is? Rest in the profound clarity that comes from simplicity and the quiet joy found in simply being present with what is. As your breath flows softly and your body finds deeper ease, let us now discover the unexpected wellspring of happiness found in embracing life's ceaseless flow. This is the story of the gardener and the wilted bloom. In a beautiful monastery garden lived a diligent gardener. He loved his flowers deeply, especially the vibrant, perfect blooms. He spent his days tending to them with great care, but he also spent much of his time worrying. He worried when a bud was slow to open. He worried when a petal showed a slight blemish. And he worried most when a bloom he cherished began to wilt. He believed joy was only found in the peak of perfection. One morning, he discovered his favorite rose, once radiant, now gently drooping, its petals softly curling. A wave of sadness and frustration washed over him. He sighed, feeling the loss of its fleeting beauty. The old master, walking through the garden, approached him. He saw the gardener's sorrow. The master knelt beside the wilting rose. He gently touched a fading petal. "Look," he whispered. "Do you see how the light still catches its soft curves? Do you notice the subtle shift in its perfume as it returns to the earth?" The gardener looked through his tears at the flower. He saw the delicate hues of the fading petals. He saw how it was still contributing to the cycle of life, returning nutrients to the soil for new growth. And in that moment, he realized that beauty and joy were not confined to the perfect bloom. They were present in every phase of life's unfolding. He found peace in the acceptance of the rose just as it was, wilting but still beautiful. The poignant story of the gardener and the wilted bloom offers a profound Zen teaching for our modern lives. It challenges our often rigid idea of what constitutes beauty, success, or happiness, and it invites us to find joy in the present moment, regardless of its form. In today's fast-paced world, we are often conditioned to chase perfection. We filter our photos. We curate our appearances. We strive for flawless outcomes in every aspect of our lives. When things inevitably begin to change, to fade, or to appear imperfect, we often experience sadness, disappointment, or resistance. The Buddha taught, all composite things are impermanent. They are subject to birth and death. To accept this is to find joy. This profound insight is perfectly embodied by the gardener's transformation when he embraced the impermanence of the rose. He discovered a deeper, more enduring joy that transcended its fleeting peak. Zen practice invites us to cultivate a radical acceptance of life's natural cycles, to observe every moment, every experience, as part of a beautiful, unfolding process. This means finding contentment, not just in moments of success or vibrancy, but also in moments of struggle, of quiet, or of letting go. When we can truly see the beauty in the wilting flower, the wisdom in the fading light, the strength in moments of rest, we free ourselves from the illusion that joy resides only in perfect conditions. We discover that happiness is inherent in our willingness to be present with all that arises, just as it is. As the Zen master Shunryu Suzuki taught, just to be is enough. To simply be with the moment is to find its inherent perfection. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any areas where you might be resisting a natural change or judging a perceived imperfection. Can you imagine yourself gently embracing that moment just as it is. Can you find the subtle beauty, the quiet wisdom in its present form? Rest in the profound joy that comes from accepting the continuous flow of life and the quiet understanding that every moment holds its own unique perfection. As your body yields to peace and your mind quietens, let us now consider the true nature of searching and the effortless discovery found in ceasing all pursuit. This is the story of the seeker and the mountain. A young seeker heard tales of a wise old master who lived atop a very high mountain. It was said that whoever reached him and posed a question would receive the ultimate answer to life's mysteries. The seeker, filled with burning questions and a restless mind, began his arduous climb. He pushed himself through thick forests, over rocky terrains, and up steep paths. His mind was constantly on the destination, the master, the answer. He barely noticed the beauty around him, the ancient trees, the clear mountain streams, the singing birds. He worried about the time it was taking, the difficulty of the climb, and whether he would be worthy of the master's wisdom. After many days, exhausted but driven by his quest, he finally reached the summit. He found the master sitting peacefully under a large tree, simply observing the distant clouds. The seeker bowed deeply. "Master," he panted, "I have come so far, with so many questions, seeking your ultimate answer to life." The master looked at him with kind eyes. He gestured to the vast valley below and the clouds drifting above. He said, "You have already found the answer." The seeker was confused. "But Master," he said, "I have not yet asked my questions. You have not yet given me the ultimate truth." The master smiled. He said, "The answer is in the mountain. The answer is in the climb. The answer is in the breath you took at every step. The answer is in the joy you missed while seeking." The seeker looked around. He saw the magnificent view. For the very first time, he felt the cool breeze on his skin. He noticed the deep stillness of the summit. He realized he had been so focused on the destination that he had overlooked the profound wisdom and the quiet joy that was present in every step of his journey. The profound story of the seeker and the mountain offers a pivotal Zen teaching for our modern lives. It illuminates our human tendency to postpone happiness, to always strive for a future state or a distant goal, missing the inherent richness of the present moment. In today's goal-driven society, we are constantly told to set targets, to achieve milestones, to climb the ladder. We often believe that joy and fulfillment reside solely in the accomplishment of these external aims. This relentless striving can lead to perpetual dissatisfaction, where we achieve one goal only to immediately set another, never truly experiencing the peace of being right here, right now. The Buddha taught, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. This fundamental insight is perfectly embodied by the Master's lesson. The ultimate answer was not a secret truth revealed at the summit. It was the very process of the journey itself. Zen practice invites us to cultivate presence in every step of our lives, to find completeness not in the destination, but in the very act of walking the path. This means bringing awareness to our breath, to our body, to our surroundings as we pursue our goals. It is about realizing that joy is not something we find after the climb, but something we can discover during every step of the ascent and the descent. When we can truly appreciate the struggle, the effort, the learning that unfolds in each present moment, we free ourselves from the illusion that happiness is a future event. We discover that joy is always inherent in our willingness to be present with all that arises. As the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, every breath we take, every step we make, can be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any goals you are pursuing or any destinations you are striving towards. Are you missing the joy that is present in your very journey? Can you bring your full awareness to this moment, this breath, and find the profound peace that is already here? Rest in the quiet joy that comes from embracing the path itself and the deep understanding that happiness is not a distant peak, but the very ground you walk upon. As your body softens and your mind quietens, let us now consider the deceptive nature of worry and the freedom found in allowing the natural unfolding. This is the story of the farmer and the growing seed. In a fertile valley, a farmer planted a tiny seed. He had great hopes for the harvest. Each morning, he would visit the field and gaze at the spot where he had planted the seed. He worried incessantly. Is it growing? Is it getting enough water? Is the soil rich enough? He became impatient. He dug up the soil a little each day to check on the seed. He wanted to see the sprout emerge. Right away, he imagined the full-grown plant, the abundant harvest, and his mind raced with concerns about the future. He tried to pull the tiny sprout gently from the ground, hoping to make it grow faster. His worry and his interference became a source of great torment for him. One day, the old Zen master, walking by, saw the farmer anxiously digging around the spot. "What troubles you, my friend?" the master asked. The farmer explained his worries about the seed and his desire for it to grow quickly. The master listened calmly. He then knelt and gently covered the disturbed soil. He looked at the farmer with a compassionate smile. He said, "The seed grows in its own time and in its own way. Your worry does not hasten its growth. It only disturbs the earth and your own peace." The farmer looked at the undisturbed soil and then at the master's serene face. He realized his anxiety was not helping the seed, but was robbing him of his own joy. In the present moment, he finally let go of his worry and returned to his home with a lighter heart. The simple story of the farmer and the growing seed offers a profound Zen teaching for our modern lives. It beautifully illustrates the futility of worry and the peace found in trusting the natural process of life. In today's fast-paced world, we are often consumed by anxiety about the future. We worry about our careers, our health, our relationships, our finances. Like the farmer, we try to force outcomes to control circumstances, believing that our worry will somehow ensure a better result. But this incessant worry, this mental digging, only disturbs our inner peace and prevents us from truly living the present moment. The Buddha taught, the root of suffering is attachment. Our attachment to specific outcomes, our attachment to control, is often the very thing that generates worry and obstructs our joy. Zen practice invites us to cultivate mindful awareness of our worries, to observe them as they arise, without judgment and without clinging, to recognize that worry is often a mental habit, a projection into the future that pulls us away from the richness of now. Like the Master, we can gently cover the disturbed soil of our minds. We can trust that life, like the seed, has its own inherent wisdom and its own timing. This is about realizing that true growth and true joy do not arise from anxiety, but from a deep trust in the unfolding of life itself. As the Zen master Lao Tzu taught, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. To let go of worry is to open ourselves to the vast potential of the present. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any worries you might be holding on to about the future or about things beyond your immediate control. Can you imagine gently releasing those concerns? Can you trust in the wisdom of life's unfolding? Just like the growing seed, rest in the profound peace that comes from letting go of worry and the quiet joy found in simply being present with the gentle process of life. As your body softens and your mind quietens, let us now consider the deceptive nature of seeking and the effortless discovery found in simply being. This is the story of the student who searched for the Buddha. A zealous student traveled far and wide, searching for the living Buddha. He believed that if he could only find the enlightened one, all his questions would be answered, and he would attain ultimate peace. He visited many temples, consulted many teachers, and read countless scriptures. His mind was constantly filled with images of what the Buddha might look like, where he might reside, and what profound words he might utter. He imagined a glorious, majestic figure, radiating light and speaking in celestial tones. He searched in distant lands and in crowded cities. He overlooked the simple kindness of the people he met, the beauty of the landscapes he traversed, and the quiet wisdom of the moments that unfolded around him. After many years, tired and disheartened, he returned to his own small hut. He sat down, exhausted, and simply rested. As he sat there, doing nothing, thinking nothing, he noticed the warmth of the sun on his face. He heard the gentle chirping of a bird outside. He felt the simple rhythm of his own breath. And in that profound stillness, a realization dawned within him. The Buddha was not a distant figure to be found. The peace he sought was not in a faraway land or a grand teaching. It was in the simple presence of each ordinary moment, in the very awareness that had been within him all along. He had searched everywhere except where the Buddha truly resided. The profound story of the student who searched for the Buddha offers a crucial Zen teaching for our modern lives. It beautifully illustrates our human tendency to search externally for what is inherently within us. In today's outward-focused world, we are constantly seeking happiness, fulfillment, and validation from external sources. We chase achievements, accumulate possessions, and look to others to define our worth. We might spend our lives like the student, traveling far and wide in pursuit of something we believe is missing or outside ourselves. But this external seeking often leads to perpetual dissatisfaction, because true peace resides within. The Buddha taught, "Do not seek and do not cling." This profound insight is perfectly embodied by the student's journey. His relentless search prevented him from seeing the very truth that was always present. Only when he ceased seeking and simply returned to himself did he discover the Buddha of his own inherent awareness. Zen practice invites us to turn our attention inward, to cultivate a deep presence with our own experience, our own breath, our own being. It is about realizing that joy is not something we find out there, but something we uncover in here, in the profound simplicity of the present moment, when we can sit quietly and simply be with the warmth of the sun, the sound of a bird, the rhythm of our breath. We discover a boundless wellspring of peace and contentment. This practice frees us from the endless chase of external validation. It allows us to rest in the knowing that we are already whole, already complete, already enlightened. As the Zen master Shunryu Suzuki taught, you are perfect just as you are, and you could use a little improvement. The perfection is inherent. The improvement is simply realizing it. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any searching you might still be doing for happiness or completeness. Can you imagine gently ceasing all pursuit and simply returning to the quiet of your own being? Rest in the profound joy that comes from realizing that the Buddha, the peace, the ultimate answer, is already and always right here within you. The profound story of the student who searched for the Buddha offers a crucial Zen teaching for our modern lives. It beautifully illustrates our human tendency to search externally for what is inherently within us. In today's outward-focused world, we are constantly seeking happiness, fulfillment, and validation from external sources. We chase achievements, accumulate possessions, and look to others to define our worth. We might spend our lives like the student, traveling far and wide in pursuit of something we believe is missing or outside ourselves. But this external seeking often leads to perpetual dissatisfaction, because true peace resides within. The Buddha taught, do not seek and do not cling. This profound insight is perfectly embodied by the student's journey. His relentless search prevented him from seeing the very truth that was always present. Only when he ceased seeking and simply returned to himself did he discover the Buddha of his own inherent awareness. Zen practice invites us to turn our attention inward, to cultivate a deep presence with our own experience, our own breath, our own being. It is about realizing that joy is not something we find out there, but something we uncover in here, in the profound simplicity of the present moment, when we can sit quietly and simply be, with the warmth of the sun, the sound of a bird, the rhythm of our breath. We discover a boundless wellspring of peace and contentment. This practice frees us from the endless chase of external validation. It allows us to rest in the knowing that we are already whole, already complete, already enlightened. As the Zen master, Shunryu Suzuki taught, you are perfect just as you are, and you could use a little improvement. The perfection is inherent. The improvement is simply realizing it. Tonight, as you settle into deep, restorative sleep, reflect on any searching you might still be doing for happiness or completeness. Can you imagine gently ceasing all pursuit and simply returning to the quiet of your own being? Rest in the profound joy that comes from realizing that the Buddha, the peace, the ultimate answer, is already and always right here within you. As our shared journey through these gentle Zen tales now draws to a close, you may feel a profound lightness and a deepening sense of peace. We have explored together the subtle pathways to finding joy in this very moment. Remember the wisdom of the plum tree, teaching presence in every task. The fisherman's net, revealing joy in the act, not just the catch. The two monks, showing us the lightness of letting go of the past. The uncarved block, guiding us to trust life's natural unfolding. The taste of tea, inviting an empty, open mind. The willow's strength, in bending with the wind, not resisting. The growing seed, reminding us to release the grip of worry. And the student's quest, showing that the peace we seek is already and always within us. The Buddha taught, every human being is the author of his own health or disease. To choose joy in the present moment is a profound act of self-love. Now, there is nothing more to do, nowhere to go. Simply rest in the spaciousness of your own being. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath, a silent anchor to this peaceful present. Release every thought, every expectation, every last trace of tension. You are safe. You are at peace. You are deeply loved. Drift now into the profound depths of restorative sleep. May your dreams be filled with joy and your awakening be refreshed and renewed by the quiet wisdom of the present moment.